Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are. It is, of course, the Fruit Nut News on, of course, today, which is, of course, Monday. I think it's Monday. I'm not sure it's Monday. Is it Monday? Who knows? Absolutely, who knows? Who knows? Yes, Monday, of course, the 4th. Monday, the 24th, of course, of August 2000, and, of course, 26, ladies and gentlemen. So, good evening, everyone. Excuse me. Hope we're all okay. You can tell it's alive. A little bit of a burp there. Anyway, so just getting up the chat here. Jason's given us the A-OK. Yeah, we must be rocking and socking, ladies and gentlemen, rocking and socking. So, yeah, very interesting start to the week already. As the days go by, we seem to be getting more and more information coming out. And, of course, not only that, more and more things are happening. Now, you don't need to comment on the waistcoat or the shirt, okay? It's all pretty normal. So, if you can, if you've got the chat up here, I've got the thumbs up from Jason. If you are able to hear me okay and see me okay, then, could you give me a thumbs up? Pam has said, nice collared shirt, Mark. Vanessa apparently has just had a nice piece of cod. Glenn says it's loud and clear. Looney Lena said, you're on another level. Brilliant. So we seem to have the thumbs up. I actually sort of feel like I'm a BBC presenter dressed up at the moment. I'm half expecting Channel 4 or Channel 5 to give me a call in the next few minutes and say, thanks, you're on at 5. Brilliant. So Olivia's talking about the job centre. Thank you, Olivia. Not sure whether I'm cut out to be a full-time presenter, but I'll tell you what, I'd give it a fucking good go, and at least people would get to find out the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So yes, it's all right. I'm just I'm waiting for some more comments to come up here. Yeah. Anyway, let's just have a quick hello to everybody. So Vanessa says, you're looking okay. Thanks, Vanessa. Do you reckon you can do the 10 o'clock news tonight? Absolutely no fucking problem at all. Absolutely no problem at all. I'll make the phone calls to Trump, Putin, and Xi Jinping. You'll see me on the BBC at 10 o'clock tonight. No problem at all. Anyway, let's have a quick hello to everybody. So we've got Debbie Hanson. Debbie Hanson seems to be a new one. So welcome, Debbie. I've not seen your name before. So glad you're joining us tonight. Now, of course, as you well know, if you are slightly offended by anything, especially the truth, this is certainly not the channel for you. Looney Lena's in, Chris Taylor's in, Bill Gill's in, Jim Tully's in, Joyce Guest is in, Lisa's in, Cav's in, Natalie Browen's in, Glenn's in, Canalboat Collins in, Jill's in, Dawn Sykes is in, Graham's in, Mary's in, Lisa's in, Pam's in, Jen's in, Livia's in, Sheila's in, Belinda's in, Kelly's in, Kelly Claus, all right, Kelly Claus. Who else have we got? Let's have a look. Ava, Sharon, Angela, Ann Taylor, Sheila Douglas, Belinda, Kelly Close, Sharon Gillibland, Lorraine's in, Keith Anker's in, Kate H is in, and of course Mika. So, wow, 40 people in tonight. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, very, very interesting. Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't particularly dressed up. Had a bit of a meeting today, so we had to crack on with that. we are looking into making the podcasts a more professional looking sort of thing. I'm looking into the equipment that I need in order to do that. Yeah, very interesting. Now, first of all, you will have heard of the Teesside crash. This is where two policemen and 5 young boys were killed. This was in the early hours of Saturday morning. I'd heard a few things on the grapevine, but didn't want to really comment until it was made sort of official, and that's been done today. There was the area was closed off until, of course, I think it was either early this morning or late afternoon today. So there was an extensive thing at the door. An extensive investigation taking place, which there would be in regards to the amount of fatalities. Now, it seems as though that there is a massive level, not only of firearms involved. Apparently, the people were known to the police. There has also been today, it's been announced that there's been another 12 to 17 people being arrested in connection with, I'm presuming it's gangland activity. I don't quite know what that means, or what's happening. So, yeah, firearms available. Previous people known to the police for various different offences. It is a very interesting one. It is a very interesting one. Now, you may or may not be aware, but Teesside we have our own port in Teesside. And so, just like places like Hull and Bridlington, the Teesside area is open to drugs, trafficking, etc., due to the ongoing shipping, so to speak. So, very, very interesting this is. Teesside is, apparently, I didn't know this, but Teesside apparently is the international drug trafficking capital of Europe, which, I mean, that really says it all. So we're looking at being far above Malaga, Benidorm, do you know what I'm saying? So it's actually a very interesting, should we say, trafficking corridor, whether or not it's drugs, money, or whatever. Now, recently, about, I'd say probably about a year ago, maybe a bit longer than that, there was a massive drugs bust involving a rather large number of people, and also 5 or 6 farms in the local area that were producing drugs, etc. Not sure whether that was Class A or whether it was cannabis, or I'm presuming it's cannabis and weed and stuff. So anyway, but that went relatively seen. And so this kind of leads me to believe that something rather large is happening behind the scenes. Now, of course, I may or may not be wrong about that, because, of course, it's open to debate, and, of course, debating is sort of very preferential, but, of course, it leads us to assume that there is definitely something going on. Okay. So cutting back to the chase, okay, in regards to something going on, we've also had a fact that one of the biggest bankers in the UK, HSBC, have announced that their middle tier bankers, are going to be cleared out. Okay. Now, that's not just HSBC. I think that's a banking protocol. We also know that the middle tier of the councils are also being cleared out. Okay. And they're getting rid of the waste. Now, we know that many people do jobs that A, are not required, and B, they just fucking toss it off. That's a common knowledge. We also know as well that there's something going on in regards to the banking system. Now, someone sent me a video today about the gold and silver being re-evaluated. Now, the guy in question was talking about the way that gold has been re-evaluated over the years in order to, create money. Now, we know that gold and silver are massively undervalued at the moment. Okay, but he went on to explain how if gold is re-evaluated to, let's say, £4,000 an ounce, which is very credible, what that could do, it could actually release about £1 trillion of money without touching the sort of gold reserves they've got. So if they revalue the gold, that means that the gold would release the money. Now, this is don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, this is a very a difficult situation to navigate, but it's also a very difficult situation to basically understand. So I don't understand the whole full lot of it, okay? But what this chap said was really interesting. Okay. Remember that HSBC were bailed out by the UK taxpayers, okay, in 2008 to the tune of about 48 billion. Now, so just bear that in mind, okay? So now, if this gold is re-evaluated, it will release money. Now, what this guy said was really interesting. He said that at the moment, he said, we've got low class people, i.e. under £100,000 a year, okay, that are really struggling. So that would sort of, equate to a lot of people, okay? And what he said that that would give Donald Trump the scope, okay, to send checks, okay, to anybody earning under £100,000. Now, I've got no idea how much he's going to send. I've got no idea. But this man sounded to me like he was talking about Jassara Nassara. Now, before global economic recovery comes in, national economic recovery has to come in of course, the USA. So, this is really interesting. So the banking cartels, or should we say the Federal Reserve, whatever you want to call them, they are playing, you know, technically Russian roulette. And basically, the pound is worth out. About yeah, it's just flush it. So, yeah, been taking is the every money is what base the value of the cent or the dollar or the pound or the euro, etc., etc. For you personally, what that means is that, you know, like when you bought a pound of sweets back in the day when you were 5, okay, you probably can't remember that, but I can, you would get a massive bag full of sweets, okay? Today, you don't get that. You get like a freaking, like maybe 2 or 3 jelly tots if you're lucky, okay? So that's the idea. And the British colonial system is basically based on what they call trickle-down economy, which is absolute load of bollocks, okay? Because that money that gets pumped in never gets trickled down to the people that really need it, which is the people that are earning under £100,000 a year, okay? So let's just bear that in mind as we move forward. Now, apparently, Baron Trump, okay, now, if Donald is looking at, apparently, if Donald is looking to reduce the $40 trillion American debt, apparently, Iran has put a £10 trillion bounty on Baron Trump's head. Now, I don't know, Baron Trump at the moment seems to be rather large, as in tall. So if I was Baron, I might decide to go and have my legs shortened just to like reduce the height a little bit. But anyway, that's just a little bit of an idea for Baron to take on board. If he's not standing so tall, he won't be as easy to shoot. Yeah, I mean, the lad's 6'9", nearly 7 fucking foot. He's huge. Okay. So what else have we got? Now, Andy Burnham. Let's look at Andy Burnham. Now, Andy Burnham, as you all know today, has been in Ukraine, loading it up, of course, with the Ukraine Massive. Now, you know, Andy's there supporting Ukraine and telling Ukraine that he's going to stand with them to protect their borders and, of course, till the end of time. Andy says it doesn't matter how long it takes, we will stand by your side. Meanwhile, of course, in the UK, apparently thousands of migrants are pouring into the country who seem to have access to money, food, shelter, heat, light, TVs, and, of course, more recently, weapons. Now, isn't it ironic that the Prime Minister, of course, apparently, of the UK, is so concerned about the Ukrainian borders being invaded by, of course, our Mr. President Putin, that, of course, he's taken it upon himself to go all the way over to Ukraine. Now, remember, ladies and gentlemen, that there is a massive climate change crisis. And, of course, you know, But Andy doesn't worry too much about that. No. These people, you know, fly around the world like it's fucking going out of fashion. It's like, oh yeah, let's just fly to Kiev, all right? I think it's about a 6-hour journey. I think it is something like that, 6-7 hours. So yeah, think of all that fuel, think of all that footprint, etc., etc. But and of course, you know, what you've got to remember is that you're not allowed to light a barbecue. Very interesting. Someone's saying that has he gone over to take over a load of cocaine? Well, apparently British cocaine is, of course, the purest of quality, so I wouldn't be surprised if, of course, he hasn't gone over there. I mean, to be honest, with those eyebrows and those glasses, it reminds me of that guy out of Breaking Bad, doing methamphetamine. Very interesting. Now, mainstream media, of course, continue to blame President Putin for the problems that the UK is facing. Now, the UK, of course, is facing the problem that, of course, the UK is actively bombing Russia with UK missiles and UK tech. They've actually stopped far short of saying that UK military personnel are operating those systems, but we knew that anyway. I mean, it's not as though, it really isn't as though the Ukraine would be capable of using any kind of technical equipment per se. So, you know, we all know, of course, that the UK is not only bombing Russia. Now, the UK is actively preparing, without you knowing, of course, is actively preparing for something, okay? We've had a few warnings if you've been paying attention. If you haven't been paying attention, then you haven't been paying attention. Now, meanwhile, of course, Andy Burnham wants to reduce the cost of fuel prices, and his latest idea apparently is going to buy a big boat, and he's going to store gas on the big boat, just in case we get short. Now, we've got plenty of natural gas storage facilities in the UK, which at the moment are probably empty. And there's numerous reasons for that, of course. One of them, of course, is a pipeline issue from Russia into Germany. Another one is an oil issue as well with the same pipeline. That, of course, Ukraine blew up and blamed Russia, trying to create a war. And to be fair, Mr. Putin's patience is doing very, very well at the moment. Let me tell you. If it was me, I think I would have blown my top now and just gone, fuck you, and done it. But anyway, yes, Andy's buying a big boat. Now, the Frugal News, we're suggesting, of course, that Andy could maybe stick together some of these massive dinghies that are coming over. You know, I mean, it's only going to cost a tube of super glue. Stick them all together, fill them full of gas. Hey ho, you've got a mobile gas storage facility. You can tow it anywhere. And you can keep it moving to stop anybody from blasting it. Now, of course, tonight our condolences go out, of course, to Wills and Kate. Now, Wills and Kate, of course, are absolutely under the most incredible strain in regards to Meghan and Harry coming back to the UK. apparently Kate yesterday managed to brave a smile at a local church event, probably where Charles died, and we've not been told yet. But anyway, yeah, we have to really, our hearts go out to Kate, who is under incredible pressure over Harry and, of course, Meghan. And not to mention wee Willie Winkle. Oh, wee Willie Winkle, that likes a bit of pegging, of course, which Kate refused to do, and got another lover. And of course, you know, I mean, to be honest, apparently Kate's had enough of the jam. She doesn't want any more jam. Now, apparently Meghan's come over with a boatload of jam all the way from Florida. Apparently she grew special strawberries for it. And apparently it's only £49 a tin. Now, Meghan has been very generous to Kate, and she's offered this surplus jam that was supposed to be for Hollywood. Unfortunately, Kate's going to buy the last remains, of course, of the 400 million jars of jam from Meghan at a very discounted price. Apparently, Kate has done a massive great deal of £45.50 per jar instead of £49.50 per jar. Now, I don't know about you, but I mean, Kate really needs to put in for the job of should we say, Rachel Reeves, because of course it seems as though they both can't work calculators. And then apparently experts are absolutely baffled by the amount of jobs that are not available to the general public. Now, senior members of the civil service are going around tonight scratching their heads, wondering why there were 55,000 job vacancies, probably more, available in 2017, and unfortunately in 2026 this happens to be 8,000. Now, what we're talking about here, we're not talking about mechanics, we're not talking about electricians, we're not talking about plasterers or joiners or plumbers. No, we're talking about graduates. You know, these people that go to college and get a degree in fucking jam. Or, you know, they come out and they've done a thesis, on writing their own diary. Or maybe they've done a study over the last 4 years of getting pissed up outside of the university dormitories. Or maybe they've done a thesis on the benefits of illegal immigrants coming into the country. And of course, with only 8,000 graduate vacancies available, somebody in the Home Office is actually working out that all these fuckers that went to college, they've dropped a fucking bollock. Whereas Arthur Jones, who did an apprenticeship and has become a qualified electrician, is earning around about £1,000 a day in central London. Yeah, I don't know about you, but £1,000 a day in central London and stacking shelves at McDonald's, well, I know what I'd rather do. But anyway, that's just me. Now, the Home Office are asking people to write in and let them know if you can help them out with this quandary, not only regarding the fact that fewer vacancies are available, but also how we can make this better. Now, of course, we've had Lewis Hamilton and Kim Kardashian, massive trouble. Kim decided that rather than driving one Formula car, she decided to drive another one too. Best friends, apparently. Runs in the family, maybe. Then, of course, we had old Tess and Vernon. Vernon's moved out, apparently. No wonder he's not on the radio at the moment, BBC Radio 2, because, of course, he's under massive pressure moving his pillars. Very interesting. We've got trouble at the Beckhams, as you well know. I mean, that's always been trouble. The Rooneys, they don't know what to fucking do. I mean, Colette's neither here nor there. She don't know what she's fucking doing, Colette Rooney. Fucking hell. And then, of course, we have Madge and Kylie. Now, Madge and Kylie have apparently announced that they are going to have a live lesbian session, of course, at Wembley Stadium, to, of course, the sound of the classics. Now, the tickets are £14,000 for the back row, £120,000 for the front row. And if you want to be on stage filming and operating the cameras while these two chicks with dicks get it on, well, that's going to cost you even more. So we'll look forward to that at Wembley Stadium. After they've done the first lesbian session, they are then going to nip over to the O2, which is going to be rebranded Oral City. Very interesting. Anyway, we'll wait and see on that one. Now, of course, as well, Andy Burnham says that the UK's growth is exceeding expectations. We're not quite sure what growth he's talking about, but we'd like to enlighten him on the only growth that seems to be happening is crime, rape, car chasing seems to be on the increase as well, gang rapes up there as well, drugs, the importation of boats, etc., illegal immigrants coming into the country, that's definitely on the rise. And that's about the only thing that's really growing in the UK, apart from the fact that the UK deficit is growing even more because Andy Burnham's just promised another couple of trillion to, of course, Ukraine. Not to mention, of course, Andy's tongue round Zelensky's backside and hairy balls. There you go. Now, meanwhile, of course, as well, he's decided that he's going to introduce what he calls the mansion tax. Now, this sounds all good on paper. Unfortunately, when you start to break into the nitty-gritty, it does get quite interesting. Now, apparently, Andy is going to deploy Andy is going to deploy an army of highly skilled tax collectors who are going to come out individually to 120 million properties in the UK. And, of course, they are going to assess your property. They're going to assess your car. They're going to assess your blinds. They're going to assess your curtains. They're going to assess your computers. They're going to assess your building. They're going to assess your grass, your trampoline. They're going to assess whether you've got an inflatable swimming pool. They're going to work out how much water you use to water your fucking derailleurs. They're also going to work out how many hours sleep you have a day. And then what they're going to do, they're going to tax you on it. Not quite sure how they're going to work that out. But anyway, that's the latest idea, of course, from Andy Burnham. Andy Eyebrows Burnham. Yes, you've heard it from us. The mansion tax is on the way. And of course, Richard Branson is exempt. Elon Musk is exempt. Donald Trump is exempt. Andy Burnham is exempt. Keir Starmer's exempt. Oh, yes. All the big wallies, they're all exempt. It's absolutely crazy. Now, meanwhile, of course, Andy's still in massive debate about whether or not to open up the Scottish oil fields. Now, this, of course, is a place called Jackdaw, and, of course, is it Brownbank, Rowbank, Brownbank, I don't know. Anyway, let me tell you that those two oil fields are, at this moment in time, they are pumping oil. And 80% of that oil goes to a company called Shell, and it goes to another company, a private company. I can't remember offhand what it is, but anyway, 80% of that money goes there. Now, the Norwegian company that own 80% of that, they basically reduce the price of the oil, okay, a little bit for their own citizens, and then they sell the rest of it on the open market. The British don't do that. What the British do is, the British keep the cost of the fuel for the UK just as high or even higher than what it is anywhere else in the world, and they go and sell our oil to other countries who get it far cheaper than we do. Now, sounds madness, but I want you to think about this, okay? Dutch Shell, they basically sell their oil around the world on the open market, okay? I think it's somewhere in the region of £8 to £9 a barrel. Now, a barrel of oil is 45 gallons, okay? 45 gallons, ladies and gentlemen. And Britain pays the most outrageous amount of money for their oil in the world. Now, let's look at America. The American oil, which also sort of comes out of, it goes onto the open market. The American oil, basically, or should we say the price of fuel in America, is around about, I think it's about £1.70 for a gallon, which is 5 litres. So can you see the price difference? Now, remember that in Libya, back in the 1970s, Colonel Gaddafi sold their own oil to the people at cost. And I think at the time, the cost of the fuel for Libyan people was about 7p a gallon. It's a little bit more now. I think it costs anywhere between 40 and 50p now to process a gallon of crude oil. And so the price of fuel is still highly, highly inflated. I mean, you know, we pay a pound of our £1.79 is basically fuel tax in various ways, shapes or forms. And of course, as you well know, oil is artificially priced through Iran. And basically other countries around the world. And not only is the price of oil artificially inflated, the pumping of oil is artificially inflated as well. Or should we say, the pumping of oil is basically controlled in order to keep the prices, okay, at a very high premium. Okay. Now remember that the more oil that is produced, the cheaper the price gets, because the price comes down on the open market. So if you've got, I don't know, let's say 100 billion barrels of oil on the open market to sell, that means that the price of the oil is going to be cheaper than what it would be if you only had 1 barrel of oil for sale. Okay, that's how it works in our economy at the moment. That, of course, is at the moment. Anyway, I'm going to get myself off, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed that. I do get a little bit worried sometimes that a lot of stuff that we are doing seems to be like what I call on repeat. Now, you know, I don't know really how to make it any more different, because of course the same things, you know, we're talking about the same things kind of like day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, week out. There is a lot of changes going on, but of course a lot of people cannot understand what's going on behind the scenes. Many people are still focused on the New World Order, and they cannot see a way out. And I think that one of the reasons that is because there's no, should we say, there's no obvious evidence that something's going on. There's no obvious evidence that things are changing. So, you know, it's not on the BBC. Now, it's never going to be on the BBC. So, excuse me. Oh, dear. You might see, excuse me, you might see like different things. I mean, you know, myself and others are quite good at spotting different things that are being said on the TV, on the news, etc., etc. But of course, if you're not watching the mainstream news, you are, of course, going to miss that. And if you're not listening for those things that are going on, you're going to miss that too. So it is very difficult for me and others to give you hard factual evidence that suggests that something's happening. I mean, and even when I do give evidence that things are happening, then what happens is that people still don't believe. Now I'm going to give you an example of this, and a very interesting example. I have a group of people in the morning, and I go to the gym, as you all know, and those groups of people 6-7 years ago were very invested in, of course, the conservative Labour. Today, after everything that's gone on, those people are not now invested in the Conservative and Labour. Their now questions are, well, who do we vote for? There isn't anybody that we trust. There isn't anybody that we believe in. There's nobody that we can rely on in order to do that. So that's just one example of a very small change that's taken place in the people over the last 6 years. And there's many, many other changes that have happened. But of course, the problem is that many people are expecting, you know, this big boom. And remember that one of the reasons that, of course, the the Conservative and Labour and also the Republican and the Democrat parties are being blown apart is because the voting systems that have been used over the years have been corrupted. Everything has been rigged. And so all of your elections that you've had over the last 30 years, 40 years, however you want to call it, have all been rigged for a certain outcome. And that, of course, is all now being made public, and people are being made aware of it through social media. That is one of the reasons why, of course, they want to shut down social media. It's got nothing to do with security. It's got nothing to do with safety. It's got to do with stopping people from talking and stopping people from discussing this thing. So, like this program that I set up, if you remember, the first few videos that I did were basically, 100 and 150,000 views. These were the first 2 or 3 videos. So if that trend had continued without me being shadow banned, I mean, I would have had probably a very, very big following by now. I'm not saying that I haven't, but what I'm saying is that there would be more people listening to me today than what people than who are listening. Now, obviously the videos get shared to YouTube and Rumble and all places like that. And I know that some of you that are sharing the videos, I know that some of you are getting 3 and 4 and 5,000 views. So, at the end of the day, it's not, 50, 60, 70 people that are looking and watching. It's a lot more. And also as well, there are people that watch that don't actually admit it. Very interesting. Okay. Now, I'm going to get myself off. Hope you all enjoyed it tonight. I certainly have. I will, of course, be on again tomorrow, which, of course, is Tuesday the 25th of August. And we are fastly heading, of course, towards September, as you well know. Nights are drawing in. The cool weather's coming back. So it's all tickety-boo. Don't forget, it'll soon be time for Harvest Festival. Can you remember Harvest Festival? Where's that disappeared to?